Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. Today we're going to be working on getting this engine and trans out, only the bottom end and the transmission. So it shouldn't take too long to get this thing out. We are on crunch time. I've got about a week to get this thing up and running. The new engine is sitting right here in the bag. It's a new long block LSVTEC. I just basically swapped my old cylinder head over to that, and yeah, we're gonna continue trying to get this car running. I have an appointment to drop this thing off at Rudz Racing on Monday, I believe. Today is Thursday, and it's gonna get broken in and tuned on the dyno. Mikey's gonna be the one tuning again. The long block over there is about maybe 75% assembled. I still have to transfer the oil pump over from this, the water pump, timing belt, all the timing components, the ATI damper, along with all the coolant pipe, the thermostat housing. Literally everything needs to be transferred over from the B20 to the new LS over there. So that's gonna be the approach today. Hopefully we can at least get the bottom end and the transmission out of the car and start transferring parts over. We're not gonna be finishing it today, obviously, but we still have tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday as well to get this thing done. Our game plan is to disconnect the wiring harness completely from the engine, go ahead and remove the axles from the transmission as well, undo the shift linkage. Obviously exhaust is already gone, so I don't have to deal with that. Since the head's gone, really easy access to the T-bracket. I'm going to remove that right away because I have this table that I can drop the engine on. And all I have to do is set this onto the table under the car with the lift, undo the trans mount and the driver's side post mount there, and then this engine is going to be out. It's going to be that easy. Alright, I've got axles removed. Shift linkage is kind of undone, moved out of the way. Again, wiring harness up there is removed completely. I have to swap the Moroso onto the new engine, and then the dummy pan onto the broken boy. I don't think you guys have actually seen this yet, but B18 B1, better cylinder design than the B20. So this is the new one. I have to, as you can see, lots of stuff to actually transfer over. I gotta put this plug here. It'd be really bad if I forgot that. Gotta transfer the sandwich plate because this is an LSVTEC, obviously, so I have to run the oil line. To put the plug here, this is where the original breather box would go. As you can see on this side, it's very bare. I have to swap the water pump over. I have to swap the extra oil pump over. I did get a new OEM front crank seal as well, and then swap over all the timing components. I think the goal today is to just get this motor out, probably call it a day once this thing is out. So we're very close. The old engine, bottom end and transmission is out. Here's the new engine. Car's up there. We're basically going to call it a night. Today's goal is pretty much to get this thing out, and that's pretty much what we did, along with a bunch of other smaller things. But the old stuff is out. Now I can start transferring a lot of the auxiliary stuff onto the new engine. We're gonna make it, boys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, it's Friday morning. Let's start transferring stuff from the old block to the new. Alright, I pretty much have most of the things stripped off of the old motor. Everything is removed off of this side here. All of the stuff on the front of the engine, all the timing components, oil pump, water pump. There's really nothing in the front there to remove. Everything on the trans over here, we'll kind of just leave on here. Obviously the starter will have to come off so that we can pull the trans off. All I have to do now is disassemble the oil pump, clean it up on the inside, clean up the sandwich plate, clean up basically all these components. Also, clean up the pickup, the baffle, clean up the oil pan just a little bit more. I cleaned it up quite a bit yesterday already. I still have to get some gasket residue off the main surface here. But I'm pretty much to the point where it's just all cleaning the old parts to start transferring onto the new engine, which is right there. Good morning. Day 3 started. I am back in the garage, obviously, and I just took a little bit of time to just take the transmission off the old block. I needed to stop filming to actually get some real work done. So I spent maybe the first half hour, 45 minutes just taking off the trans, clutch, and flywheel, because I need to make some progress on this thing, and stopping every 10-15 minutes to record is slowing me down, and I've only got today and tomorrow to get this thing in the car and running. Here's the B20. There's the trans down there, clutch, flywheel. Here is the new motor right here. I just gotta get all this stuff right here onto this motor, and then this thing is really close to being able to go back into the car. All right, I got the flywheel on. Yes, I know, several hot spots on the surface of the flywheel. Nothing I can really do about it now. I'm just going to go ahead and run it. This is all gonna be gone probably towards the end of the year anyway. So if you see this and you're like, don't use that, yes, I know, but I need to get this car running by next week. But if you're in a bind and don't have a clutch alignment tool for the disc, I found out a pretty cool life hack. 10mm deep socket 3/8 drive fits perfectly into the pilot bearing. See that? And then a 1/2" drive, 17mm deep, fits perfectly into the clutch disc. No play at all. And then also the opening is big enough to accept a 10mm socket completely. So like that, slides right on. That is the closest you're gonna be able to get without a clutch alignment tool, I think, with just using some sockets that you probably already have in your toolbox. Hope that comes in handy one day for you guys. Alright, welcome back to day 4. Engine is in. I pretty much have this thing ready to start up. We do have to crank it over for a little bit just to build some oil pressure. Make sure we got oil at those bearings, going through the oil pump, crank it for a little bit. I had the battery on a tender for a little bit too. I'll get the cooling system filled up. It's got some water in it. Got engine oil in. Honestly, this thing's it's done. It's pretty much ready to fire up. So let's go ahead and crank it up and get some oil pressure going through it first. Alright, moment of truth. I was cranking over the engine a whole bunch of times to make sure I had oil pressure. Right now, I'm ready to try and start it for the first time. I don't know why. I've done this plenty of times, these first starts, but I'm particularly nervous about this one because I need it to work. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna be stressed, but here we go. Let's try and start this thing up. Alright, I got Honda Bluetoothing to the tablet here. I got 12.2 volts. Been cranking it for a little bit, so the battery's a little bit low. Coolant temp is obviously ambient. Let's go ahead and prime the fuel pump some more. Alright, let's see if she starts. Oh, make sure it's in neutral. Here we go. First start. Nothing yet. Let's leave the fuel pump running. Let's try it again. Battery's running low, 11.6 volts. Come on, baby. Oh, blew the breaker over there. cranking for too long. All right, we'll wait for a little bit. Let's try again. All right, we gave it a little bit, reset the breaker. Let's give her a try again. That last one, it did sound like it wanted to start, so let's hope it starts this time. Let's go. Hey! Immediately. Okay. Alright, alternator's charging. That's good. That battery is real low. Done bleeding. Both upper and lower radiator hoses are warm or hot at this point. Temperature staying steady at 189, which is beautiful. Charging perfectly at 13.9 volts. Yeah, this thing's pretty much bled out. We'll go ahead and close off the cooling system here, and then we'll shut the car off and we'll do an oil change. Alright, here's one of the reasons why we do an oil change almost immediately after we do startup on a brand new engine. This drain plug was cleaned off completely before I started this car up. It's got a magnetic tip and it's caught a bunch of metal debris from inside the engine. So this could have been just from parts inside the engine, the oil galleys that we just couldn't get to. Whatever it is, this is the reason why we do an oil change. All I did was start the car up, bleed the coolant, and that was maybe good 20-25 minutes of it running and just idling. We're going to fill it up with some new oil after I take the oil filter off, and put a new oil filter, new oil into it, and then we're going to do a compression test. Alright, just finished cylinder number 4. I already let go of the pressure inside cylinder 4, but 250, 255-ish on all cylinders. Bunch of compression. Rings are starting to seat. Everything looks so good. So since we did have the distributor off, we're going to go ahead and set base ignition timing with the timing light here so that the boys at Rudz and Mikey don't have to deal with getting that set up before the tune. Less work for them. So we're going to go ahead and we've got the timing light hooked up. I gotta clamp it to the battery still. I'm gonna have Hondata up as well and connected to the ECU so that we could lock ignition timing at 16 degrees. I'll go ahead and climb inside the car here real quick. Alright, so we're in the car. Got S Manager up. I downloaded the map. I am going to start the car up and then we'll lock the ignition timing at 16 degrees and then we'll go out there and adjust the distributor and make sure that it matches on the crank pulley. So we'll go ahead and start this thing up. Ignition on and start. This is basically going to do it for the video. I'm finally done putting the new engine in and it's running. I've got great compression, no leaks, no nothing. I am ready for a tune at Rudz with Mikey. I spent the last 4 days in this garage with this thing at about 6 to 8 hours at a time because I've got a track weekend with NASA at Mid-O in less than a week. Today is Sunday, I'm loading up on Friday and we're heading out. This thing still has to get tuned. I'm dropping it off at Rudz tomorrow for a proper break-in on the dyno, and then I believe on Wednesday is when it's gonna get the tune with Mikey. I'm hoping everything goes smoothly and no issues because I literally don't have any more time to address any other issues. I'm hoping that everything is good from here. But with everything that's been going on with this car and kind of my journey through NASA, I hope it has inspired some of you guys to kind of get back up if you get knocked down, because 2 weeks ago I found out that my old block, which is sitting on the ground right there, had a crack in every single cylinder. But instead of panicking and freaking out, I mean, you could freak out a little bit, but without panicking and not knowing what to do, you take a deep breath, you figure out what you need to do, what your options are, and try to pursue the best one that's gonna work out for you. I figured out what I wanted to do. Of course, it wasn't just me. I had a bunch of help from the homie Charlie. I definitely couldn't have gotten this done without you, so thank you so much for always supporting me. But hopefully everyone can see what we can do in such a short amount of time with the resources, the friends, the hard work and dedication to get through these types of obstacles. That was the biggest mechanical failure that I've had on this car so far. And instead of packing up my bags and hanging up the towels, I decided to just put my head down and get to work. So hopefully you guys learned a thing or two, but I'm gonna get back to this, start buttoning it up and get it out of the garage so that I can go home. So that pretty much is gonna do it for the video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you guys wanna stay up to date with the car and myself and my progress through NASA as a driver, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like, go ahead and share the video because that definitely helps out the channel. Until next time, stay safe, stay smooth. I'll see you guys in the next video.